And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love to help you win. We do that by engaging with you. So reach out to the hotline. We'd love to connect you with all of our expert contributors, any of our expert contributors, 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here daily on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. You can call or text the hotline, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
ConsumerQB.com as well, the website ConsumerQB.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors on the program as well. We got a great lineup for you today as well. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us, our water quality expert, going to be on the program here coming up later in the show. We got our PEO, professional employer expert, and payroll expert, Patrick Morades as well, Axis Group on the program, as well as Anthony Rickman, attorney Anthony Rickman here, the Rickman Law Firm on the program. I'm going to talk about human trafficking, other criminal activity going on in Tampa Bay. He's a criminal defense attorney right here in Tampa Bay. Plus, we got our feel-good story of the day. There's a bus shortage in Ohio, so this dad is taking his kids to school in his limo. So pretty cool story out of Ohio there. Before we jump into this, I want to thank one of our sponsors here, Replenish IV Solutions. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. If you want to feel hydrated and replenished, reach out to our friends. It's a safe and effective way to boost your body's immune systems with crucial vitamins and nutrients to enable your body to fight off these different viruses out there as well. Multiple Bay Area locations, or they will come to you, to your home or office. Went to the Rays game last week or a couple weeks ago and had a little bit of a late night, so I called them up. Hey, come on over. The nurse came over, hooked me up with a vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream. Felt great. Replenish IV Solutions. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we like to feature our real estate listings here on the program. We got a hot property listing, $1 million listing in South Tampa, 6012 Russell Street in South Tampa. This is a Mediterranean Palace, 1 block from Bay Shore. Beautiful property. You got almost 10-foot tall ceilings throughout. 6012 Russell Street. Ballast Point community, 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, custom built home. And this is one of those custom built homes that is concrete block, first story and second story poured concrete. A lot of times you see the second story built as a wood frame, but this is the best possible built construction home on Russell Street in South Tampa. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Attorney Anthony Rickman, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to have you in. So, yeah, let's jump right into it, man. Criminal defense, it's kind of a different area of law. A lot of different things happening out there.
Yeah, look, in my world, I represent people who have been accused of crimes, people under criminal investigation, people who have pending criminal charges. So for my area of practice, there's such a wide array of cases and people who I deal with throughout the spectrum, from state court to federal court. You know, my clients range from people accused of DUI, suspended license, to first-degree murder.
Wow.
And I get a wide range of cases. Every time my phone rings, I don't know what's on the other end.
Yeah.
And the person on the other end could have been accused of a homicide, could have been accused of DUI, could have been someone who went to D.C. on January 6th.
Yeah.
And I handle cases like that, a few D.C. cases. So in this world that I live in, it is a wide array of cases, and every day is a new adventure.
Seems like it could be a parent going to a school board meeting objecting to the school board policies.
Oh, without a doubt. I've handled trespassing cases at the school board.
Yeah.
People who object to the policies, people who don't want their children wearing masks, object to the political climate,
Yeah.
feel that they're exercising their right to free speech, or asked to leave. They don't leave,
Right.
and then they get hit with a misdemeanor.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, interesting to see where the priorities lie with some of these, really the DOJ at some on a higher level too.
Well, look, the DOJ, they're especially looking at the January 6th cases.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to see how these cases are evolving and what the government is doing to prosecute these cases.
Yeah.
It started at first with the people who went inside.
Yep.
People who went inside, who are there on the video, who are there breaking things, going to Speaker Pelosi's office, hanging from the rafters in Congress,
taking pictures,
taking selfies, and then this wide net that they cast where you have neighbors turning in neighbors. Hey, that's my neighbor on that selfie. My buddy's on Facebook at the Capitol. And now we've seen the cases evolve from those who trespassed to now the government looking at organizations, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, different organizations they feel had a concerted effort to obstruct Congress, to obstruct the certification of the election.
Yeah.
And now we see another prong of these prosecutions, and that is people who went to D.C. with, in their mind, good intentions. They're supporting the President of the United States. They were there to rally, and they see the crowd moving towards the Capitol.
Right.
And they follow the crowd.
Yep.
And they follow the crowd into a restricted area. And when they get there at 2:40 when the people have already stormed the Capitol.
Yep.
The barricades are down. The signs are down. The
Right.
police force has stepped back, guarding the perimeter of the Capitol. And they walk onto Capitol grounds.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing prosecutions for people who didn't just go in, but also people who entered what is considered the Capitol grounds without actually going into the White House.
Who probably didn't realize
Capitol
they were trespassing at that point. They didn't realize it because everything's down.
And that's the issue, is that you have to prove the person intentionally entered a restricted area.
Right.
And they get there at 2:40 after people have already gone in. They see this crowd. They see people supporting the president. They hear the president say, go down to the Capitol and let your voice be heard.
Yep.
They walk down there. They're in a restricted area. And now they're getting the FBI knocking on their door saying you're subject to a federal investigation.
Wow.
And it's crazy how these cases involve. And we see members of organizations being prosecuted or looked at because of their mere involvement with Proud Boys, with other organizations that may have been there at the Capitol, may have had involvement. And the question becomes, how far is government's reach going to be? How far are they going to go into infiltrating these organizations and arresting people or prosecuting people for being involved in the organization or just going to D.C.?
Yeah, and the double standard is just crazy when you look at the summer riots and the lack of, even the not lack of prosecution, but also the blatant, hey, let's raise some money, let's get these people out of jail.
Well, look, there was a recent sentencing in federal court about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the federal judge at that sentencing looked at the government and said, I find this to be politically motivated.
Yeah.
And this federal judge had, the gall to tell the government, hey, look, you didn't prosecute like this over the summer.
Right.
When we saw these people burning down government buildings, tearing down statues, trespassing on public property.
Yeah.
Why is it that your prosecution is so focused on January 6th?
Yeah.
When the entire summer we haven't seen prosecutions. Now, right or wrong, this is what this judge said, and it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Because we see local and federal officials essentially not making arrests. I think there were the initiatives and orders not to arrest and prosecute for people involved in the summer of violence.
Summer of violence. By the way, let me play a clip real quick. This is about Chicago law, and of course, I've got my defend the police T-shirt on. But just listen to this. Listen to some of these stats. This is a clip from the Charlie Kirk Show.
And so now there is a showdown between Lori Lightfoot and the Chicago Police Union. So let's get an update. Year to date, 639 people have been shot and killed in Chicago. 3,111 have been shot and wounded. 3,750 people total shot. 679 homicides. In October, they're a little behind schedule, so let's see if they'll catch up. There are 23 shot and killed, 161 shot and wounded, 184 total shot, and 26 total homicides. And just this week alone, 8 people shot and killed, 43 shot and wounded, 51 total.
So anyways, the numbers are staggering. And then just a couple weeks ago, there was a gang shooting in Chicago, 70 shots fired both sides at each other. And I guess the district attorney decided not to press charges on either.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath in Chicago.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that their gun laws are some of the strictest in the country.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're not focused on where they need to be. And every week we hear the same statistics, people being gunned down in the streets. And you have a mayor who has come out essentially as anti-law enforcement.
Right.
You have a mayor who is running the city, is the executive of the city, of the law enforcement.
Yep.
And she is clearly at odds with the people trying to protect the community. And, it's scary.
Yes,
at the numbers that you hear and the murders, the homicide, and the rates you hear. And then Midwest now, remember, that's the same sort of area where 2 people were prosecuted because they stood in front of their house with a gun to stay off my property.
St. Louis, wasn't it?
St. Louis. So you're gonna go and prosecute people for protecting their home with the firearm, but not take the guns off of the streets where they belong.
Yeah.
And the question has to be asked: if their laws were not as strict, if lawful gun owners were able to possess those firearms, will people be deterred from committing crimes?
Right.
And I think it's clear here in Florida we have gun laws. And we don't see those numbers.
Yep.
You know,
Stand your ground.
Yeah.
You know, you've got these types of things. We're talking with Anthony Rickman here, attorney Anthony Rickman on the Consumer Quarterback Show, therickmanlawfirm.com, therickmanlawfirm.com. And Anthony, yeah, I mean, you're right on point, man. I mean, it's just the double standard is just staggering. And where does it end?
Well, and you talk about stand your ground, you know, and we see people against stand your ground. The people who are against the stand your ground are the same people like Lightfoot.
Yep.
Who is allowing all this to happen
right
under her nose. You know, Florida, Governor DeSantis, we have a very strong stand your ground law that protects criminal defendants. It allows people to protect themselves and not require you to retreat if you feel that you are in danger of being a victim of a felony, a forcible felony, being victim of serious bodily injury, you're attacked.
Yep.
And the standard is simple, is that why do I have to think about it? Why do I have to constantly retreat? By the time I retreat and turn my back, I can be killed.
Exactly.
And we all know that theory of a person with a knife can pull that knife and stab you before you can draw your firearm.
Right.
And stand your ground protects citizens from unlawful attack. In the state of Florida, we've seen it utilized. I've utilized it as a defense for a lot of my clients who have used their right of self-preservation to protect themselves and their family from an attacker.
Yep.
And the bottom line is you shouldn't have to retreat or run before you defend yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, you know, the Second Amendment's about. That's what free speech is about. And, you know, the situation of these double standards, we've got to address it. It's unbelievable just where it's going. Let's switch gears. Before the show, we were talking a little about human trafficking. A couple of weeks ago, I went to one of our show partners, one of the nonprofits that we bring on, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, had their 5th gala over at the big church up in Northdale, maybe there. The name's escaping me. Grace Family, maybe. But it was interesting to see. Human trafficking is such a challenging area, you know, especially with the southern border being opened up by the Biden administration. People are pouring through by the hundreds of thousands. I think I read or heard on a podcast this morning the number from the department was 120,000 people so far. That was documented. And then not counting the getaways. But talk to me about what you're seeing in that area of sex crimes, human trafficking. It's crazy. Yeah,
it's staggering. And recently there was a big sting here in Hillsborough County where 125 people were arrested in what law enforcement called a human trafficking sting. And look, human trafficking is real. People are being brought into the United States. People are being trafficked for purposes, whether it be labor or in this particular situation we see often is the sex trade.
Yeah.
And when we talk about human trafficking, it's so encompassing of so many different things.
Yeah.
And when people think human trafficking, they're thinking, hey, these kids are being sold into sex slaves or people being sold into sex labor. But really, it's much bigger than that. When we talk about the human trafficking sting, the majority of cases that come out of these stings are prostitution cases.
Right.
Are people soliciting prostitutes, whether it be on the internet, through websites, through apps, where law enforcement creates a fake persona.
Yep.
They use their own officers as either a person who's in the sex trade, either a prostitute looking for people, and people respond to the ads. They go to a target location, a hotel, they make the offer, the John accepts the offer, and boom, you're in handcuffs and arrested.
Right.
That's a large part of these human trafficking stings.
Yeah.
Another part of the human trafficking cases we see are people who are traveling or attempting to travel to engage in sexual acts with minors.
Yeah.
And in those things, what law enforcement will do is they'll pose as minors. They will go onto a website, and they're not always your websites like Backpage or a website dedicated to children. A lot of times they are websites that people use for whatever purposes, whether it be Tinder, whether it be an adult dating website,
TikTok. Are they using TikTok now?
TikTok, whatever basically law enforcement can get their hands on to talk to, communicate with people.
Right.
They are using to see if people are actually engaging in or looking for sex with minors.
Yeah.
And people with children have to be careful because it's everything. It's it's Yahoo, it's TikTok, it's Facebook. These people are utilizing all different avenues, and kids with cell phones, it's very easy to do it. So law enforcement poses as children, or sometimes in extreme cases, parents who want to solicit their child to engage in a conversation where people then travel to engage in a sexual act with the child.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And with the law, you don't need a real child. The law creates a caveat. One of the people come to me and say, hey, well, I wasn't talking to a real child, so I shouldn't be found guilty. What the statute provides is that it's either a child or a law enforcement officer posing as a child.
Because the intent was there.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we have the third prong of cases. That's some of the most extreme cases. Those are the people who are engaged in human trafficking. They are people who go out and find women children, bring them somewhere, provide them with housing, shelter, then let them go into the sex trade.
Yeah.
Basically, in the most extreme cases, holding them essentially as hostages, having them engage in sexual acts. And these stings are targeted to get those people.
Yeah.
But a lot of times what we see, the majority of cases are misdemeanor cases.
Yeah.
The solicitation, the prostitution cases.
Yeah. And many times they're drugging them as well. They're waking up in one state to the next and just ending, just living a horrible life. Let's take a quick break there. I want to come back and you stay with us another segment.
Sure.
All right, perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with attorney Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, criminal defense attorney right here in Tampa Bay, therickmanlawfirm.com. Plus, later in the show, we got our feel-good story of the day. There's a bus shortage in Ohio, so this dad is taking his kids to school in his limo. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you follow us online. By the way, you can follow us on Spotify as well as iTunes. You can catch the show anytime on your time on demand on Spotify and iTunes. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Hey, Margie here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or investing, please give us a shot. We would love to help you. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and you can reach us at 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. ConsumerQB.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We greatly appreciate you just supporting the program. All those that call into our hotline, reach out and support our expert contributors that we bring on the show. We greatly appreciate that. We are in studio here. We got attorney Anthony Rickman in the house, the Rickman Law Firm, therickmanlawfirm.com as well. Quick shout out to our official hotel partner. That's the Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island. Beautiful beach resort. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant. Say hello to Clyde Smith and his team. Make sure you let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take him up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we'd like to feature our real estate listings live on air here as well. I got a property at 13335 County Line Road, 13335 County Line Road. This is a gorgeous property, great opportunity, acreage on Spring Hill, on County Line Road in Spring Hill. Great opportunity for development. So attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs looking to build and grow your business. And 1333 County Line Road in Spring Hill. That's 13335 County Line Road, Spring Hill. Great opportunity. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, so Attorney Rickman in studio here. Tell us a little bit, between the break, we were kind of talking about some of the different scenarios that play out. There's protection of the citizen. We have rights as human beings, as citizens. We got natural rights as well, granted by God, but then there's also there's rights that we have as citizens of the United States of America. Sometimes it can be, they're trying to press a little bit too hard in these cases. What else are you seeing out there?
Yeah, look, one of the biggest rights we have as citizens is the presumption of innocence. That every citizen accused of the crime is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And unfortunately, for some people, when you have these big stings, like we recently saw, 125 people arrested.
Yeah.
We have Sheriff Chronister. I know Grady Judd is great at this, with his pictures, with his narratives, and saying these things. Understand, when these people are arrested, they're innocent until the government proves that they committed a crime.
Right.
And one thing you never get back is your reputation.
Right.
Is your exposure to what people say and what the media may put out there.
Right.
And in this situation, looking at an example of this, there's 125 arrests. We saw yesterday a billboard, 3 billboards that the sheriff put up with 125 mugshots, names, first and last name, and image of this person. And these people have been accused of a crime.
Yeah.
They're innocent until the government proves they're guilty. And no matter what happens to this person, you can't take that back.
Right.
And what we have a lot of these circumstances, and in some cases rightfully so, the sheriff's office saying what they believe they can prove. But at the end of the day, it is a dangerous proposition for citizens.
Yeah.
Because you're in a situation where the government hasn't proved anything. And it's a one-sided press conference where the sheriff has put you on blast, said these things. And we have a system in Florida where, let's say in a circumstance, this person is charged with misdemeanor solicitation. No prior criminal history. He gets a diversion program, slap on the wrist, completes it successfully. He expunges his record. Or let's say another circumstance where someone is not guilty because somebody else was on his computer communicating with the cop. Or law enforcement used illegal tactics such as entrapment.
Yeah.
It's still out there.
What's the definition of entrapment?
So entrapment is essentially when the government creates the crime, creates all the elements of crime for somebody who's not predisposed to commit that crime, and essentially entices someone to committing a crime they normally wouldn't commit. For instance, in these sex cases, we see entrapment in the form of someone is talking to the undercover, whether it be a John, whether it be a person posing as a minor, and they attempt to stop the conversation.
Yeah.
And law enforcement persists. They continue. Well, if I were there, what would you like? If and then send pictures. A lot of these cases themselves, in order to even communicate with the individual who's the target of the investigation, these websites are for 18 and up.
Yeah.
So right away, the criminal defendant, the person accused, in his mind thinks, okay, maybe I'm communicating with an adult.
Yeah.
Am I communicating with an adult who is in some sort of fantasy world saying that they're a younger age?
Right.
Am I communicating with an adult who's messing with me? And then law enforcement sends a picture. And that picture doesn't look like a 14-year-old.
Right.
And then they start talking, and oh, and by the way, I'm under the age of 18.
Right.
I've seen cases where defendants have stopped this communication, but law enforcement persists.
Wow.
And when they persist, they say certain buzzwords or key phrases to engage this person into additional conversation that normally they wouldn't have.
Right.
And then luring him into a sense of security and ultimately creating that body of crime. And when you talk about entrapment, it's law enforcement basically forcing somebody, or through their tactics, having someone commit a crime they normally wouldn't commit or were not predisposed to commit. Somebody with no criminal history, never having been involved in a circumstance like this.
Right.
And but for that communication with law enforcement, they would have never engaged in this activity.
Yeah. And these big events like the Super Bowl that we just had recently, those really attract a lot of the national attention to our area. And then, of course, it seems like it goes up. The ante goes up. Without a doubt. I had a case out of the Super Bowl recently where my client was charged with human trafficking, minimum mandatory in prison, first-degree felony, looking at 30 years in prison. Wow.
The Tampa Police Department threw a large press conference about my client. They talked about him. There were news media following this case. And at the end of the day, State dropped this charge to a misdemeanor with a withhold of adjudication, no conviction. Why? Because it wasn't there.
Wow.
And there was a rush to judgment, and there's always a rush. Everyone wants to come out. We made this giant human trafficking case without looking at the evidence.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, unfortunately, law enforcement sees the end result, but how they get there is often lost.
Wow.
And in this particular case, they charged my client with human trafficking, but they didn't look to see that the alleged victim who they were trafficking was engaged in the sex industry her entire life. That she actually sought out my client.
Wow.
She came to Florida. She asked him, hey, can you bring me to Florida?
Right.
And he brought her there because she wanted to come, that she was, advertising herself, all of her services that she provides individuals.
Damn.
It's tough.
That's a rough rush to judgment in that case, and that person's going to, it's be a tough situation. Where can people find you? Find me at therickmanlawfirm.com. My number is 813-999-0502. Don't wait to be arrested. If you get law enforcement knocking on your door, if they're communicating with you in any way,
talk to a lawyer. Invoke your right to remain silent. Come see me.
Be proactive.
Be proactive. Don't sit on your hands.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate it.
All right, coming up, Patrick Moradi's Access Group LLC in the house. Fred DeFelice later in the program. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, featuring our listings live on air on the show, helping our sellers profit more and sell faster, utilizing our innovation with radio, TV, and internet marketing. 100 Oakmont Lane in Bel Air. This is a beautiful property. This is a condo that we've got listed with $1 million views overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. 100 Oakmont Lane in Bel Air, unit number 611. This is 1,300 plus square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Amazing views from the balcony. You've got a private balcony as well. In-unit laundry, minutes to the Gulf, community pool, large family room. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also got an affordable home here at 1410 East River Cove. 1410 East River Cove. This is a property that we've got right here in Tampa Bay. Tampa home, great starter home, or maybe turn it into a rental. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. 1410 East River Cove. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, well maintained, and a pre-inspected property on a corner lot with majestic oak trees. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And giving a shout out to Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation do such a great job. If you're looking to add sprinkler system or any type of irrigation to your properties, reach out to Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got our friend Patrick Moradi's back in studio. Access Group LLC. Welcome in, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Brandon? Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in. And when you look at what's going on with the economy, you know, there's a lot of things going on, man. People are looking for jobs. Employers are looking to fill jobs. Some people are like, hey, I'm still collecting monies from the government. What are you seeing out there?
Well, we're seeing a lot of that as far as across our client base. There's a huge hiring issue. Everyone we speak to and work with is having a hard time finding people willing to work and having a hard time putting people to work. That seems the biggest obstacle and challenge from our clients in California, New York, and even here in Florida. There's just a shortage of workers. Yeah, it's a challenge, man. And this CARES Act, tell me about this. This CARES Act has some provisions in there that can help. There's an employee retention credit. Yeah, absolutely. It's something we've been focusing on here a lot lately, and not only helping our clients with it, but organizations that are not our clients. We're happy to work with any organization. It was something that was buried in the CARES Act that didn't get the publicity that the PPP loans got. So you're correct. The acronym is Employee Retention Credit. So essentially, when it was first in the act, it was for 50 employees on down, W-2 only. Okay. And they amended it to go up to 100. And now they've amended it again to go up to 1,000 employees per tax ID. Wow. So they've opened it up quite significantly, and the credits that you can receive are quite significant, upwards of $7,000 per employee per quarter. And there's a number of different determining factors that go into that. That's why we recommend working with a third party or an expert. A lot of CPAs a lot of CPAs haven't really focused on it because of the amount of moving parts. There's updates happening daily. So it's not a real revenue driver for them, especially when you had corporate returns due September 15th and then personal returns due last Friday on October 15th. Yeah. So working with some industry experts on how to obtain those credits is important, because whether or not you receive PPP 1 and 2, whether or not they've been forgiven, your revenue quarter over quarter is examined, your payroll numbers, how many employees you kept or hired. So there's a lot of different moving parts. Wow. But, some of the results have been pretty compelling. We've got some restaurants here locally that have received 7 figures in a compensation,
wow.
From the CARES Act for this. And then the nice thing about this program that's different than the PPP is there's no stipulation on the money. So with the PPP, it was required for payroll, 60% of it, and then the rest could be towards utilities and rent. This is at your discretion, so you can use it for marketing. You could use it to acquire another company. Some of these restaurants use it to acquire 2 more locations. So there's total flexibility with the proceeds and what you want to do with it for your business.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a boat like the guy in Fort Myers did.
You can buy a boat. Yeah.
Remember that guy? Remember he got in trouble for that.
Yeah, you can buy a big boat and take it out in the bay, and you're going to pay taxes on it. But you'll have to have another expert get in here and talk about strategy on how to avoid that. But yeah, you could.
Well, let me plug Michelle Brady. Our CPA. She's an attorney, tax attorney, and a CPA. So if you need help with that too, she can help you with on the CPA side. Of course, now PEO, Professional Employer Organization. That's where Patrick jumps in and helps with all those different types of functions. I'll let you.
Yeah, anything in that employer related space. So we've been talking about the tax credits. There's certain reports that you would need to get from your PEO, your payroll company, in order to receive the credit. So that's where we'd come in to be able to help. But just in brief, a PEO handles all those back office burdens that no one likes to deal with. Payroll, HR, administering the workers' comp, risk management. So helping support the claims when someone is injured, health insurance, administering the 401k. So all those back office burdens that you didn't get into business to know and do and focus in on is what we do. And then you just focus on being that worksite employer, the hiring, the firing, the training, the managing, the disciplining, recruiting. That stays on you as the employer. All that paperwork and dealing with paying the taxes, whether it be the federal and state unemployment, filing of the 941s, we'll handle all that and manage all that for you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast. I believe it's a Charlie Kirk show. I want to play a quick clip about global tax. I don't believe it's law yet. I think it was a summit that they had, and they're talking about including making this come rule of the land, the world.
The most controversial feature of this plan is what's known as a top-up mechanism, which works like this. If one participating nation charges a corporate tax rate of less than 15%, the nation where that company is headquartered can charge the company the difference for the activities in other nations. So if Amazon only paid a 10% tax rate in another nation, the U.S. government can claim the difference of sales in that nation, in this case, 5%.
So basically, if you're a large company, the IRS can still tax your revenue even if you move to another country.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so this is a global tax that they're talking about putting in place, and to me, it's like it's another step towards globalism. It's eroding our sovereignty as United States. If the company's based in the United States, I don't like the idea of other company or other countries telling us what we should tax at or what we have to do it at.
I don't know how you track and manage all that. The IRS is challenged enough as it is.
Right.
I mean, they're trying to hire over 6,000 or 8,000 IRS employees right now.
I heard that, a big number.
So how do you even? We can't even get our own, what together.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get it together with other countries when we're doing business globally? I see that being a huge uphill battle and challenge. Some of the things that have been discussed that I think are more concerning that need to be part of a conversation amongst consumers and individuals and citizens is that the death tax, the increase in the death tax that they're proposing, on before gains are even realized. That doesn't even I can't even comprehend
before gains are even realized.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
So it's ironic that the government has the ability to print as much money as they want, but at their discretion. Because there are elected officials, but they have no problems taking from those that have worked hard to build up a livelihood or an estate that they were looking forward to passing down to their children,
Amen.
their family, and stuff like that. So I think that needs to be a high topic of conversation.
The best example, by the way, Patrick, is like the farmer. The old man passes away, the daughter, or the son takes the farm over, and then there's this death tax, and they can't even pay the taxes.
They have to sell the business.
They have to sell the farm. They had to sell the 40 acres or the 400 acres, and that's the best example that I've seen and heard, and it plays out all the time.
Sure.
So not only that, now they're taking this death tax to a further, and they're saying, hey, if it's on paper, you have to pay the taxes on paper now.
Right.
So it's crazy.
So how do you even quantify that? I mean, take it into the realm of real estate. I mean, how much does real estate fluctuate up and down? So
exactly. So
does that mean, do I get money back when my property value decreases?
Right. Yeah.
Does it work both ways?
Exactly.
So I think this is just all pontification and conversation, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of these ideas are going to be challenged to get through, because at some point common sense must apply.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing it happen. The Supreme Court's getting involved in certain cases. They're not even hearing certain appeals. So we're seeing that happen. Just like the vax mandate. That it wasn't even a law. It's not even a law. It was just a press release, and people have started to follow it. So it's kind of like, let's the certain airlines and this and that. But let's go back locally here. So Patrick Morades, PEO, local right here in Tampa Bay, can help you with your business. If you need help with payroll, all these different functions, you can help that business owner focus on their business, what they're good at, and furthering their market share, increasing their business, growing their business, and then you can handle some of the back end functions.
Exactly. That's the primary goal, is getting that business owner to focus in on what it is they got into business for, whether it be to build their construction company or their landscaping business or their real estate business, whatever it is, so they can focus in on that instead of all that back office stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff. Where's the best place for folks to find you?
They can find us on our website at accessgroupllc.com. We've got a ton of great information on our blogs, too, about different programs that are out and available. So check that out for some good, helpful information and tips there. And then you can always call us, 813-251-3181.
Cool. AccessGroupLLC.com. And reach out to the hotline on the show, too. We put you in touch, 813-750-0550. Call or text that hotline. It's an off-air number. You can text the word PEO to 813-750-0550. Make sure we put you in touch with Patrick Morades, longtime friend of the program.
Appreciate it.
And involved heavily with local charities, too.
Yeah, we've got the Wine, Women, and Shoes coming up for the Children's Cancer Center November 4th.
Wine, Women, and Shoes. Awesome. Yeah. Wine, Women, and Shoes coming up.
It's the first time back since the pandemic, so it'll be awesome. It'll be a hit. That's a big fundraiser for us, for the children and families of the center here locally. So. Yeah. You emceed one year, remember?
Yeah, that was a while back, 4 or 5 years ago, probably.
You emceed one year. So
Wine, Women, and Shoes, November
4th.
Yeah. All right, right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks for coming in, Patrick.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, coming up, we got Fred DeFelice, our water quality expert. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. All you want to know about water supply, the quality. I was just watching the news the other day, last night, matter of fact, and saw stuff happening out in Pinellas County or Sarasota County about the water quality. We're going to ask Fred about it. He's the expert. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253.
Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-617-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We love to feature our real estate listings live on air on our show, helping our sellers profit more and sell faster, utilizing our innovation with radio, TV, and internet marketing. And we got a hot property listing, 722 Pruitt Drive, Madeira Beach. This is a duplex on the water. Got a beautiful boat dock. Bring your boat. Deep water access. Go fishing out in the Gulf of Mexico. 722 Pruitt Drive, Madeira Beach. Duplex for sale. 95-foot lot. Extra large lot. Beautiful opportunity right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, 4302 North Nebraska Avenue. This is a commercial property that we've got listed here in Nebraska in Seminole Heights. And this property, it's got your own billboard. So a private billboard. Great opportunity. Commercial property. Corner lot, 4302 North Nebraska Avenue, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
Every day we tell you something good here on the program.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a father in Ohio is offering to take children to school in his limousine during a statewide bus shortage. So it's a pretty cool story. Sean Rogers Jr. Said his kids almost missed a week of school due to the bus not showing up, so he decided to offer his limo services to children across the Columbus area. And he put a quote out. It said, starting next week, I've decided to go out and help these Columbus City buses get our kids to school. My kids and others have missed about a week of school due to their bus not showing up, and I'll be traveling all over Columbus to drop kids off in, yes, the limo, if that's okay with the parents. So he said he'd rather see the kids late than get there out there on the streets or behind bars or even have problems further than that. So help me help our kids. Dozens of parents, mostly in the Linden neighborhood, responded to the local news report, and he took 25 kids to school, told ABC News. The next day he took 42. The bus shortage is affecting children, but they're not going to let that ruin their day. So they got the limo driving kids to school. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. Welcome in.
Wow, thank you. It's always so great to be here. You got the best show, of course.
Thanks, buddy.
You're the only one talking about this stuff.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. You know, we try to do our consumer advocate responsibility here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And water quality is such a big part of it.
It's huge. And a lot of people don't listen every time that I'm on, which is unfortunate because I love to meet them.
They can hear it on Spotify, too. In case they miss it, go to Spotify.
There you go.
Download Spotify. You got your podcast. You got your iTunes podcast, Apple Podcasts. So just go to Spotify, and they can download it right there. Of course, all the shows are on YouTube.
Yeah.
But just in case they miss it, there you go. We got a solution.
I have to tell them.
Yep.
A little bit about us. I'm a second-generation master plumber. I have over 60 years in the industry. I was with the Department of Environmental Resources for several years. I've worked with engineers and scientists and architects over the years. And we're so proud. We started our company here in Florida, actually going on 14 years now.
Awesome.
But we're here 21 years. And when we first came here, we really were disappointed about the water because I was up in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania, and the water was so great there, So we did a lot of research over the years, a lot of research and development, got connected with some of the top people in the water industry, and we learned what was the right thing to do as compared to a salt water softener.
Yeah, old technology.
Yeah,
bad
it's the only
technology.
thing we had 40 years ago. And really, back then, the water quality wasn't that bad,
Yeah.
It was hard. and really hard. By today's standards, it's like 12 to 14 grains of hardness, which isn't totally out of a big deal. So we are a family-owned company. Because of our efforts, were nominated for the Sustainable Business Award.
Nice.
Because our technology is sustainable. So our whole house systems use no salt, don't add anything to the water, but what it does is take all the bad stuff out. And the technology is medical grade catalytic carbon. And that's the thing that deals with chloramine, bacteria, cysts. I mean, there's a whole host of things that's all on my website.
Yeah, microplastics.
All of that. And then the second part of it is takes care of the hard minerals, but we don't eliminate that. We keep the minerals in. We just take them and put them in to little crystals so that they don't stick and make scale. Mm. That was the thing that people had problems with, hard water. Everything scales, stains on their dishware and stuff like that.
Right.
So we're based right in Palm Harbor. We're family-owned. We have absolutely no debt. We have inventory. Right now with the supply chain issues, a lot of places can't get stuff. We're fortunate. We have that. We saw ahead of time. We've always been ahead of the curve. I hate to brag on us, but that's the truth. Our systems carry a lifetime warranty, require no maintenance for 5 years. We have financing starting at about $1 a day.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the bottled water challenge.
Yeah.
If you're going to 7-Eleven and you're buying bottled water, I know they get at least $1 for that.
Yeah.
And I have met people spending $100 a month on bottled water.
Wow.
Was at a convenience store the other day and took a photo. Got cases of water out there in the sun.
In the hot sun, right out front. I've seen that.
What could go wrong with this picture, right?
Yeah. So that leaching, that theory is it's an actual thing, right?
It absolutely is. Yeah. It's the cheapest plastic. The bottled water industry is the most loosely regulated system in the United States. Now, where they bottle the water is regulated, but from there on out, forget it, right?
Wow.
They can put anything they want on the label. So basically, that's our story. For your listeners, till the end of October, we are still offering that $500 trade-in to get rid of their old water softeners.
Okay.
And if not, we will do free installation. We've really simplified the process. Phone conversation, 5 minutes. We do have upfront pricing. We can tell you exactly the system we recommend for your home.
Perfect.
No surprises. We don't have high-pressure salespeople.
Yep. So a system, for example, like a 2-bedroom condo, going to be a little bit different than maybe a 3 or 4 or 5-bedroom house.
Correct. We have condo systems starting at $1,950.
$1,950 per month?
No, the whole unit, $1,950.
Oh, $1,950. But you can finance it.
Oh, yeah, the financing on that is $19 a month.
$19 a month, wow. So for $19 a month, you could have the absolute best water, and it's on the alkalinity scale.
Oh,
you're right where you need to be.
Exactly.
Right, and you're eliminating microplastics in the water.
Yep.
Prescription drug pill, all those that are flushed down the toilets.
Yep.
Chloramine. Bacterias in a lot of the city waters. Tell me about some of those. Remember, there was a study a while back that you showed me, like some of the water quality. I think it was even Pinellas County was some of the water just is not what you're going to be wanting to drink.
Well, think about this: it's thousands of miles of piping before it gets to your house.
Right.
Right. So they have to put enough chloramine and chlorine up front. And hopefully it's going to get throughout the system.
Yeah.
In the summer months, when all the snowbirds go home, we have less water flowing through those pipes.
Yeah.
So it takes longer to get the stuff around and do its job. Sometimes there's air pockets. If there's air, bacteria grows.
Yeah, oxygen's in there. And I remember also that a lot of the oxygen was being used in the hospitals that they would normally put into the treatment plants, right?
Yeah, they use liquid oxygen in certain parts of their system.
Yeah.
And there was a shortage of that, so they had to up the chlorine.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you also have pipe breaks, and then they tell you boil water. I tell you, I'd love for your listeners to just search what happens when you boil water. There's chemical changes.
Wow.
And if there's things in there that shouldn't be, boiling it isn't going to help you.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
our system,
Interesting.
You have Boil Water Advisor, you don't have to worry about it.
Waterscience.us, best place for folks to find you?
Yeah, we have lots of information on the website. Phone numbers on there. They can get us through you. And, we'd love to talk to anybody because we're all about educating, as you are.
Yeah.
And we love what we do.
Good job, Fred. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's always good to be here.
Waterscience.us. Fred DeFelice, one of the best in the industry. He's going to take care of you. And reach out to the hotline. We'd love to put you in contact with him. We want to thank all of our folks listening, viewing the show, share, like it. And we appreciate you tuning in. ConsumerQB.com. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.